Okay, so this is a program called Shotcut. And Shotcut, I was hoping, would be like my salvation from Adobe. And that's actually not fair. I probably would never get rid of Adobe for one reason and one reason only, and that is called Lightroom. As a photographer, Lightroom's library capabilities and everything like that are just, they're second to none. Nothing can touch it. But, I could afford just Lightroom for a lot less money than I would have to dish out for the entire Creative Suite, right? But all that to say, I decided to work with Shotcut this year a little bit. And I had a couple reasons for working with Shotcut. I'm a teacher. It's a pandemic. And so I have students, and I've only had a couple because I'm in upstate New York, so we're not having like COVID run rampant through our schools. But I've had a couple students have to go out in quarantine, right? And we have a major issue, and I'm trying to keep this short, and that is that a few years ago, Adobe totally changed their payment plan. And so our district used to have a site license, and they could throw Adobe on any laptop, any desktop they wanted across the whole district. And it wasn't cheap. It was something to the neighborhood of like $17,000, $18,000 for our district. And then sometime a few years ago, Adobe changed its payment plan, and they made the district start paying by the seat. And it was going to more than double the amount of money that our district spent. So what did they do? They took a look at where they actually really needed the Adobe stuff, and they cut way back. And I'll be honest with you, Adobe lost a lot of money. Are you listening, Adobe? Are you listening? Because you did. They lost tens of thousands of dollars. I don't know exactly how much we spend now because I haven't seen the budget. But I think it's like $10,000 or less, right? So they lost at least $8,000, probably closer to $10,000 from just our district. And I know that a lot of districts did the same thing. So anyway, the reason why I bring that up is because with this pandemic, the students get their own laptops. That's a new thing for my district. We went one to one. But when I started investigating the option of trying to put Adobe on the laptops, we came in with two big problems. Number one, most of the laptops were pretty pathetic. i3s, i5s. I'm just thankful my district didn't decide to give the kids all Chromebooks, which can't have any applications whatsoever. So that was kind of nice. But then the second problem, despite the processing powers, even if I wanted to try and eke it out and make the kids work with it, they couldn't afford it. Couldn't afford to put the Adobe Suite on the laptops for the students because then they'd be paying double per student. And that makes sense. So I thought, what are some alternatives? And, what are some alternatives to Adobe Premiere? So we went with Shotcut after I had played with it a little bit. If I'm completely honest, is Shotcut going to be the program that sets me free from Adobe and allows me to video edit? Not even close. Can it compare to Adobe Premiere? Not even close. Not even close. However, is it allowing my students to learn about filmmaking and editing and pacing and composition and all those really important basics? Absolutely. Absolutely. Is it difficult to do certain things in Shotcut? Oh, absolutely. It's really hard to do some things that are very simple to do in Adobe Premiere, if you can do them at all. There's some things that you just literally can't do in Shotcut. Working with text and graphics is really difficult. I find myself going into GIMP or Photoshop, which is ironic if I go to Photoshop, to do some things with Shotcut. So is Shotcut this amazing application that can really set you free from Adobe? Well, I'm not going to say no, but it depends on exactly what you're trying to do. And that's the huge part about it. It really depends exactly on what you're trying to do. If you're making simple YouTube videos like this, where you're doing a screen capture and you're talking with a microphone and you're recording with OBS and you might want to pop in a GIF or something like that or whatever, then yeah, You could start making money on YouTube or something like that with Shotcut easily, very easily. However, as soon as you start doing some more of the advanced stuff, special effects, animation on text, you know, that sort of thing, no, not really. I'm sorry, I don't see it. Surprisingly, one of the things that I thought might be the most difficult is actually one of the best, and that's color grading. Color grading with Shotcut is actually surprisingly powerful. You know, so it's, you know, will it save you from Adobe? It all depends. If I was thinking about working with Adobe and I hadn't purchased it yet, I'd download Shotcut first. I'd also download DaVinci Resolve. If you've got the hardware for it, DaVinci Resolve might just, you know, be the nail in the coffin for you where you don't go end up and purchase Adobe Premiere. So let's just take a look at Shotcut really quickly here and how you start a project. That's really what the purpose of this video is. And just kind of get people started with this, and then you can evaluate it yourself and see if it is something that you might want to do. So here's kind of how I like to run with this. I like my projects kind of contained in their own folder. So when you start up Shotcut, this is what you get. It's very nondescript. It's not like super sexy, you know, I mean, but the buttons look nice. I mean, the graphics are very good, and it's pretty easy to figure out what you're doing and pretty easy to kind of like find things for the most part. If you can't find it, then that usually means it's like not there. That's really what it comes down to with this program. So we're going to start a new project, and I'm just going to go to one of my hard drives here, and we'll just work with some of my African stuff. So I'm just going to select this folder, and I'll set the name, and I'll just say Africa Test or Shotcut Test. How about that? And I'm going to say video mode is automatic. Now, if you don't know what you're doing, then yeah, that's probably a good thing. To leave it on automatic, and the sequence or the timeline will be set based upon the first video that you drop into it. A lot like what Premiere does. If you know what you're doing and you know your end use, then it's not a bad idea to kind of set your video stuff. So I'm working, this is old video footage, it's 1080p at 2997. I know that, so I'm just going to start with my video mode right there. And you hit start. And it's like, did I start? Did I actually start? Yes, you did. Okay, it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't change anything. It just, the windows disappear from the center and you're ready to go. So really what you want to do is you need to get to your video clips, okay? So we're going to go here, and I'm going to go find my files. And in here I have a bunch of video clips that I shot in Africa. So what I'm going to do here is kind of take a look at these video clips, and then what I like to do is I'm going to kind of drag them off, or move the window over and drag them into the playlist. And so then what happens is it brings them all in as video playlists, and this is actually, that's video from a very long distance without a tripod, so don't judge me too hard on that. And then I've got a few more video clips here that I can also drag into here, and we'll just, that's probably pretty good. I don't feel the need to do much more other than that, so we'll just move that over here. So now I have a whole series of video clips that I can basically take a look at and then drop into the timeline, and it's actually really simple. So you just double click, it brings your video clip over here, and then you can basically kind of scrub through it if you want. Okay, so I can take this and I can scrub through it, and you can set your ins and your outs. So like I was a little out of focus there, and there it starts to be in focus, so I can take the ins and outs. I can take this and I can shorten it like this, click and drag. What I don't like about the way that it does this is as soon as you click on this, you notice how it takes my time, the playhead basically, and it moves it back to the beginning. If I wanted to keep it where it was, like I like snapping and stuff that Adobe Premiere does, it doesn't do that. So that's easily set basically by using your keyboard and just hitting I for in. And then it sets the in point right where you are at, and then O for out. And that's just the easiest way to do it, because it's very distracting, and I hate it. Like, I'm like, oh, this is where I want to start, and then I go to bring the in point over to the playhead, and it just dies. So then once you're ready, you just bring this down here to your timeline, drag it down, just exactly like you did with Adobe Premiere, and it's going to create your timeline. Now you can zoom in and out with Control and Scroll. Also, you can use the plus. Nope, that's a different thing. So Control minus or plus also makes the video tracks a little smaller. You can also right-click, and you can change the size of the video tracks here, shorter or taller. Okay, Control minus, Control plus. You'll notice that the video kind of comes in as a single track. This is another thing I'm not so happy about. I really love Premiere, where when you bring a video clip down, you have the video on one track and then the audio on the other. This works a lot more like, say, iMovie or something like that. That's a little bit simpler. But it is what it is. I mean, it works, and you can do a lot with it, which is I mean, I guess like I said, it is what it is. And so I can double click. I can find another video source. This would be a good one to show on the color adjustments. So now I can, again, I kind of like her coming around here. I can set my in point. And the keystrokes are very similar. It's J, K, and L for stopping and playing. Okay, it works out quite well. It works quite nicely. Gets a little jittery there. And the truck started moving, and I was not in a stable place. You can move back by frames with the arrow keys. It's really nice. So there we go. There's an out, and we just bring it down in here. And then it will snap to the next clip, which is really nice. And voila, there you go. Now, if you are having issues where, you have, like, say I've got this great shot here, and I was on a boat, and then I go to readjust and get to a better angle as the angle's changing, that's all, like, totally wasted. But I like that where she takes a step forward. So what I can do, actually, we'll do the opposite. Let's stick with the beginning. So the beginning's really nice where she's eating, but I can't hit. I can't, like, right about here. I've got to get rid of that, right? So all this afterwards is awful. So I'll just left arrow over until I get to that particular point, and then I can do a rolling edit. Okay, or just like you can in Premiere, and it's kind of cool. It shows you in colors. I really like this. So if it's red, that means you're adjusting the end of the clip. If it's green, that means you're adjusting the beginning of the next clip. So I really like the color code there. I think that's really cool. So then I can bring this back, and it snaps to the playhead, and you see you've got this little magnet symbol up here that's snapping. Now, then it shows you this kind of like pea green area, which is basically a warning like, hey, you doofus, you don't have any video here. So what we're going to do, by the way, your playhead position is not part of your undos. Sometimes I like that, sometimes I don't, so I don't know. So the other thing that you can do is basically a rolling edit. So right here, it's a ripple edit or ripple trim. So I can click on that tool, and I go here, and again, this is where the color coding is really important. Like, which one am I adjusting? I want to adjust the first clip, so I want the red, and then I bring this back, and then it just does a nice simple ripple edit and brings the other clip with it. And now you have two nice and simple clips. So it's kind of nice how that works, and it does work really well. You also have a split tool here, so you can take this, you can cut, and it will take your clip and cut it into two pieces, so that you can deal with that. You can also do you can do some audio editing and stuff like that, but it's kind of unique the way that Shotcut does audio editing and stuff, and I'll probably do other demos as far as that's concerned, but it works. Is it super amazing? Not really. So let's say I wanted to move these clips over and get one of these sunrise clips here. Yeah, I kind of like that. So if it wants to do that, then I'll take my ripple edit and I can grab a track. Oops, it didn't work actually the way I thought it would. I've done this before. Promise. Anyway, you just select both, move it over, and then I can go back to my sunrise shots here, and I can use one of those maybe. So just kind of scrub through what I might want to do. It's kind of bouncy, obviously. Yeah, I think I like the other shot a little better. That's good. So we'll set my out, and I'll bring this down, and it brings it in. And now I can take these and shift click. It doesn't seem to have those track selection tools like Adobe Premiere does, where you can select all the tracks from behind and bring them all together, which is really frustrating. But it does have like ripple deletes and append to the current track. So I wonder if I could, I don't know. It's not as nice to edit with, is basically what it comes down to. Is it's just not as nice to edit with. But is it passable? Absolutely, it's totally passable, and it works pretty well. After a little bit of playing around with the rendering engine too, with exporting video clips and stuff, I found that it's relatively fast. The first time I did it, it was horribly slow, and I realized that I didn't use hardware acceleration. I forgot to check that. And so once I've done that, it responded and did the rendering out of the video very comparably to Adobe Premiere. Maybe a touch slower, but very comparably. So anyway, that's essentially it. Now, before I leave you, I mean, I've started a project. I brought some clips down. There's a couple of other things to show you first. You also have these workspaces that are here, which are really nice. And I'm in the editing right now. There's a special effects one where you select a certain thing and you can add filters, and then you can animate those filters in this keyframe editor. That's pretty cool. There's also a very nice color grading setup. As like I said, I was extraordinarily impressed with the color grading. Everything in Shotcut is filters, so you have to add a filter. So you add your color grading filter, and then you can start playing with the color wheels just like you would with the three-way color editor in Adobe Premiere or whatever. It got good spectral and color data that's coming through. So if you're like me and you're a visual person who wants to really see the color data so that you kind of know that you're right on, it's there. It's really cool. You get your parades and everything like that. So I really like it. I really like the coloring. Then you have an audio editor as well, where you can go in, and again you've got these filters. Why is it stuck on the color grading? Anyway, so you can add audio filters. They'd show here. You've got levels and for different audio channels, and you can change the volume, the gain, do some other special effects, that sort of stuff. And then there's a player where you can just play your whole timeline just nice and big and kind of look at it and really see it, however you want to kind of do it. And then there's a logging, which is for basically bringing in clips. I never use it really. I just use this straight editing and just start dragging clips into the playlist and then go from there. Some things that I really miss, hugely miss, is I hugely miss the bins. In the project tab in Adobe Premiere, you have these bins and you can organize your clips based on date or scene or whatever. A large project would be really difficult to do in Shotcut, if for no other reason, just because you don't have that organizational ability in the playlist. I mean, the playlist is exactly like the project tab in Premiere, but the inability to kind of organize things is kind of frustrating. And maybe you can, and I haven't been able to find it, but really, that's all I'm like. Yeah, I haven't been able to find anything. You can't right click and create a new bin or a folder or anything like that. So I really wish you could, because I think it would make things a lot easier. I do like the different views, and being able to kind of see them. I wish I could scale them up and scale them down. I haven't really found a way of doing that either. So the video clips stay the same. I also really love it in Premiere, where I can scrub through the video clip here and it loads it in, and I can see I can see what the video is going to do and what it looks like, and kind of go, which shot is this one? Oh yeah, that's that shot. Like my 2 sunset shots here. Here's the one where the sun's off to the right, or that's actually sunrise. It's like 6 in the morning. So here the sun's off to the right, and that's not as good of a clip, I think, as this one where the sun's hitting the dust that the truck is kind of leaving behind it. That's a nicer shot, in my opinion. But maybe I like this one a little bit better because it's asymmetrical. But either way, I kind of remember those 2 shots, so I could scrub through it and go, oh yeah, that's this one, that's this one. Like you have to double click and then get in there, and it's just not quite as nice. So there are some things that I really miss about Adobe Premiere. Truth be told, if I never used Adobe Premiere and I started with Shotcut, I'd probably be very happy. But it isn't quite there. But at the same time, that's just an overall layout of Shotcut. That's kind of how it works. That's how you start a project. And those are just kind of my thoughts on the program. And my students are using it, and they're producing good work with it. And so right now I'm kind of proving in this point in time that it's a good piece of software, and it's teaching my students a lot of the same things that I would expect them to learn from Adobe Premiere. And I'm not regretting using it for class in any way, shape, or form. It really seems to work quite nicely. So overall, is it as good as Adobe Premiere? No, not even close. Could it serve its purpose to let you edit videos and never have to use Adobe Premiere? Yeah, it could. I suppose it really all just depends on what your end use is going to be. What's that final product that you want? If it's something simple, without a lot of special effects, but needs to have good color grading and good pacing and editing and good audio editing ability, then yeah, Shotcut could be a really good choice for you. And hopefully, maybe some of you will give it a try. So anyway, all that to say, give Shotcut a try. Hope this video maybe convinced you to look at it a little bit more, or maybe it convinced you, heck no, I'm going to stick with Adobe Premiere. Either way, if this helped you at all, give a like, hit the subscribe button, and have a great evening.